Started with Crystal first. We'll start with questions in person. Okay, go ahead.
Crystal, coach has talked a lot about how when she and the two players came back from the Olympic break, she found a team that was closer and more cohesive than the ones she left.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I think just the time that we were spending with each other, we were in the gym one day and then doing a team activity the next, and it was just us. It wasn't any other distractions.
What sort of activities did you do away from the court? I know you went to Chuck's Cabin one day. What else did you do?
We did some kayaking. I think it was like 3 mile kayak down the river.
Mississippi River?
Yeah, and we went to some. Did we go to baseball games? I don't know, but we did a lot of things. I mean, and outside the team sanctioned ones, we had stuff outside with just us.
How is that kind of closeness manifested itself, do you think, down the stretch of the regular season?
I think there's a lot of trust there. We're comfortable with each other, having hard conversations, holding each other accountable, things like that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, could you just talk about the excitement of getting to play in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm excited more so because, the playoffs last year in the bubble, it was a neutral kind of setting. And this year we're going to have home court for our single elimination, and that should really help. And then just a regular season of playoffs instead of being in the bubble for me.
Getting the 3 seed and getting a chance to watch some of the games before you get them, I mean, how much does that help? Being able to study your opponent and get even just a little more rest under belt.
That's huge. The week that we have off is going to be big. Let people, get themselves together, whatever's hurting them or something like that. And then it's a reset button for the rest of us.
I know this is an exciting time as far as getting the playoffs, but how much do you like your chances as you move forward?
Love them.
Why is that?
We got a great team. We're playing great basketball right now. And we're excited. When we come in here, it's work, it's a grind, and that's the part that we're falling in love with.
Dylan McBride said earlier this year that even with an 0-4 start, she still loved how this team was and like the idea of being able to make the playoffs. What did you see from the team that early moving forward, and now how do you see it now?
Like she said, we were resilient. We didn't have the start that we wanted. Still trying to piece things together, and then we brought Lay in. And I think that ever since then, we've been on a upward track, and we're getting to our peak.
Talk about offensively, how hot this team is playing.
Yeah, I think we're starting to find our stride with our outside shooting and playing inside out. We have she led the league in field goal percentage, so that's an easy bucket every time. We have Fee, we have AP coming back from her injury. She's playing well, and we have a lot of offensive weapons.
All right, Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Crystal, just when you look back at the regular season, Cheryl's talked extensively about how you've been forced to play different roles in the offense, whether starting, coming off the bench. Just what are you most proud of personally, and how you've been able to grow as a player in the regular season leading into the playoffs here?
Just figuring it out. When things get hard, it's easy to get down on yourself, which I've done a couple of times this season. But as of late, I'm feeling good about the position and the feedback that I'm getting from the coaching staff, and just being comfortable in whatever role that I have to play that day.
And then Cheryl said too that the bench especially has been the group that's worked extremely hard in practice, and has collectively watched film together, looked at, okay, what do we need to get better at, and then really worked at it in practice. Just how do you feel about just the team chemistry that not only the bench has, but just the entire team has heading into the playoffs?
We know that we all, have a certain role, an important role, no matter if we're starting, coming off the bench, how many ever minutes we play. We have to be productive, and we have to, go out there and produce and make sure that our coaching staff trust us to be out there on the floor.
And then just with you guys playing offensively, it feels like in recent weeks, a lot of you have become much more comfortable in knowing where you want to be on the floor and getting to those spots and kind of putting everybody in positions to be successful individually. Just how do you feel, in terms of your comfort and where you are in the offenses? It feels like you've been playing better of late.
Cheryl did a good job just simplifying it, pointing out where my highest shooting percentage was at. And she was like, just get there. She said that I know what I'm good at, so just do that. And when you have a coach that can just say that and tell you not to think about the other things, it's a lot easier.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal.
Yep.
We'll go last question to Kareem. Kareem, go ahead.
Crystal, Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. I got a very random question for you. Talking about practice, during the Olympic break, the entire league was able to kind of get the men practice players back. And I'm just curious, I know you guys have been using them. Some teams decided not to. I'm just curious, what do you think the biggest benefit of being able to have those guys back and being able to use them during practices?
It's huge. You know, we're up against guys that are bigger, quicker, faster, stronger, and they push us, you know, so that when we get into the games, that whatever pressure we feel is not going to be as intimidating.
I know, you know, with teams being banged up a little bit, sometimes it was a numbers issue. Did it just kind of help from that point also, where you know you don't have to kind of, you know, use everybody and bang up against each other, and you know, just having extra bodies at times?
Yeah, when you have to go out there and play defense and you have to turn around and be, you know, solid on offense and stuff, it was getting a little tough. So we appreciate them.
That's perfect. Quick and easy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
All right, everybody, I'm coming to Michaela. We'll start with questions in person. Kent, go ahead.
Michaela, Coach talked a lot after the game on Sunday about how when she came back from the Olympic break, she kind of found a different team, like really much closer, more connected, both on and off the court. How did you guys achieve that?
You know, I think when we came back on the 25th, we had a goal of kind of hitting the ground running. We knew that we had Olympians and Olympic coach, and when they got back, we wanted to be better than we were when we finished out in LA. So I think, you know, we spent a lot of time off the court, doing activities, getting to know each other a little bit better, because, you know, I got here 2 days after a season and we just had been playing. So it was good to just kind of get to know some of my teammates a little bit better, but then also just putting the work in too. You know, I think that we really started to become more connected on both ends of the floor, and that trust continued to build. And that's what you see right now, that culmination.
So it's pretty clear that closeness off the court and in the locker room can translate to cohesiveness on the court.
Oh, for sure. And it's all about trust, chemistry. You know, I think that, you know, we're doing more of holding each other accountable instead of the coaches. And, you know, that's always a recipe for success.
I'd like to get your kind of impression of, I know you came into this kind of hot right out of Europe, you started to kind of jump right in, but just your impressions of Sil, both as a player and as a teammate.
Oh, Sil's great. You know, I had spent a little bit of time with her in USA, and, you know, obviously at All-Star games, you get to know people a little bit, but, you know, actually being here with her and seeing just being a part of the culture that she's kind of built too, has been great. But, you know, Sil is as dominant as she is on the court, off the court. She's so sweet, humble, caring, kind, one of the best teammates I've ever had. So, you know, I've had a really great time being her teammate.
Did she ever talk about the championship years?
No, she's one day at a time. She's going with the flow. That's how she likes it.
Caleb, you said that at the beginning of the year, after an 0-4 start, that you still like the team's chance to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You only lost 6
Yeah.
since then. What did you see that we didn't see as you were kind of going through this journey?
I mean, I think it's this, you know, it's the day-to-day. It's the stuff that nobody else sees, the adversity that we're going through in practice and things like that, and just constantly pushing each other to get better. You know, that's a testament to a good team, a great team. And I think that, you know, we all knew that we could do a little bit more to be better, and we just kept working at it. Extra work, you know, we're doing our individual work and our skill work. And we hold ourselves to a really high standard, you know, individually and collectively. And I think that that's just, even though we started off not where we wanted to be, I think where we are now is where we should be.
You've won 4 in a row, and now you get a chance to kind of sit back and kind of, I'll say, dissect, you know, the teams that are still out there that you're going to play. How much does that help?
It helps a lot.
Getting a chance to study.
Yeah, I mean, it helps a lot. Obviously, getting laid back into the groove. She gave us great minutes in Washington. But, you know, getting her back in the groove. And I think that's a big thing, having this time to kind of get back on the court with them and, you know, getting that rhythm back. But I think it's just a chance for us to look at some film, see where we can improve on a little bit, things that we've been continuously improving on in the games, but now having that time against the guys in practice to kind of break down those little details.
What do you like so much about the offense? I mean, on any given night, somebody can kind of
Yeah.
step. I mean, this team is red hot offensively.
Yeah, and it's so unselfish, you know, and I think that we're set up to be balanced. And I think that, you know, like I said, AP's been balling. Fee has her moments, Sil has her moments. I have my moments, Rachel, everybody. And I think that's just a testament to, you know, how balanced of a team. It's all 12 of us every night.
And the last question I have is, I mean, obviously, as well as not the start you kind of wanted, I mean, how do you like your chances as you move forward in the playoffs?
One day at a time. I mean, we'll be watching the games on Thursday and just go from there. I think, you know, I've been in single elimination games before. in Vegas. So we understand what's at stake, but it's about us. It's about what we do, and it's just one day at a time.
We'll go on the Zoom next. We'll start with Kareem and then Jack. Kareem, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, a little bit. Give me a second to get my thing up. Hey, Kareem from the Washington Post. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Kind of a weird question, and you actually just mentioned it a minute ago. I wanted to ask about the guys at practice. Everybody, all the teams around the league were able to get them back during the Olympic break. What do you think the biggest benefit of having them available is?
I mean, just their physicality, their speed, their athleticism. We don't always want to go against each other in practice, so having them, being different teams, running different schemes, different players, it helps us a lot. And, they're great guys too. They're always staying around, rebounding for us. Right now, I'm looking at them. They stay around, rebound for us. Just solid guys. So we're thankful to have them.
Can you tell the difference, or is there a significant difference between having them available and during that time when they weren't?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, going against each other 5-on-5, people get injured. Some people aren't practicing, stuff like that, especially early on in the season. We only had 9 sometimes, so sometimes we had coaches in. So just knowing that we have them, on deck, it helps us be able to focus in on what we're trying to get done in practice.
That's absolutely perfect. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. We'll go Jack and then Chantel. Jack, go ahead.
Hey, K-Mac. Last week, Ariel said that she's had a ton of fun kind of really being able to play with you in the starting lineup in a normal rotation for the first time because of the different ways that you're able to pressure the defense. Just in playing with her, full go now for the first few weeks, just what have your impressions been of playing with her, and what has that adjustment process been like for you?
I mean, she's a hooper, and she enjoys the game, and it's contagious. Her energy is contagious on and off the court. We all love AP, and she's an energizer bunny, for us. But just her competitive nature, having that spark night in and night out, in the starting lineup now has been great for us. I think that us, we're different, I guess, and the things that we bring to the table. So it's fun to play off each other. We're still learning. It's a process, but we communicate well, and it's been fun, and I'm excited to watch us continue to grow.
And then Lay and Coach both said that it was a great experience for you guys to be able to play in really what was a playoff game against the Mystics. In a game where Sil and Fee maybe didn't have their best offensive nights, how important was it for you to get that experience of needing to find other places to manufacture your offense and get it done in a tough environment on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about resilience and toughness, and I think that's kind of what this team embodies. And we just find ways to get things done, and that's what the playoffs are about. Taking it one possession at a time. We talk about 5 minutes at a time throughout the game, and just continuing to stay tough, stay resilient. And I think that in those types of environments, those types of games, trust is a big thing. And I think even if Sil and Fee aren't doing whatever they're doing on offensive end, we know that they're still going to be who they are to get the job done. So that's just something that we've continued to grow on. And we'll take that momentum into the playoffs.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayla.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll wrap up with Chantel. Chantel, go ahead.
Hey, Kayla, thanks for your time. I was just hoping you could expand a little bit on what you told Kent in the room. You said that during the break, you guys spent time together doing activities. I was just curious what you guys were doing. Was it like meals together? Were you exploring the Twin Cities? And who was kind of the ringleader of those efforts?
Twins games, we did a couple workouts together at Lifetime. Chuck's, our trainer, Chuck's cabin, just little things, just hanging out by the pool, stuff like that, just kind of, getting our work done, which I think is another place where we kind of got to know each other too, just going through the grind of, the adversity of having that Olympic break and our season stopping and still having to continue to get better. I think that builds a bond on the court, and then, having that time off the court. But, just being able to get to know my teammates too. Obviously, I'm one of the newer ones. So, when you come in 2 days after a season and you kind of just start playing, but they didn't really get to know me, I don't think, until the Olympic break. And I think that you saw that kind of take off, especially in the second half of the season.
Minnesota cabin life is a very specific culture. I say this as a Minnesotan. I'm curious, what did you guys do at Chuck's cabin?
I think kayaking, paddle boards, all the little fun stuff. I mean, lakes are great. And Minnesota's a good place for them, but just being out in the cabin, having good food, good time.
Crystal put a video up on that.
Yeah, a little bit of fishing, all the good stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's it for
Are your
Kayla.
parents
Thank
going to
you.
be here for the game on Sunday?
He's coming.
Everybody, I have Katie with me. We're going to start with questions in person and then move to the Zoom. Can't go ahead.
Yeah, Coach talked a lot, even before Sunday's game, but after Sunday's game, about how different this team was when they came back from the Olympic break. How much more, I mean, not just on the court, but in a connected kind of way, chemistry kind of way. I know that you guys were here with them during the break. How did you guys kind of achieve that?
You know what, they came back with a lot of energy. So after the couple weeks that everybody gets to go off and take a little time, they came back ready to work. They were in shape. They've been working out. We did some court work. We did some other activities and kind of not team bonding, but their energy was just so locked in and like ready to go that it was so easy to have practices and work on things. So I give kudos to them for just kind of ready to rip and run the second half of the season. But they just really just came to work every single day. And obviously the time we spent together was fun as well, because you don't always get that within a season, every 4 years. And it is a lot of fun to kind of spend some time not as harried with games and travel and whatnot.
Was that maybe particularly important because you had two key players who one had been hurt and hadn't really played much with them, and one had kind of jumped in on the opening day?
Yeah.
I mean, to get to know each other?
It was. I mean, we got to run through stuff, our offenses against the guys. We scrimmaged a bunch, played, against the guys. So, we were kind of using different options of our offenses, and more people were getting more looks and more involved, maybe without Sil and Fee and those guys being gone. So maybe the confidence of just kind of what we're doing and the ability for them to get shots. But yeah, they were everybody was dependent upon. We were working them, and but I think also it gave them confidence, I think, knowing what they could expect and knowing that they could go out there and do it at any night.
So I know you guys went kayaking and you went down to up to Chuck's cabin.
Exactly.
I think you went to some ball games.
Yeah.
Just the kind of trust that kind of develops when and
yeah.
Was that part of it too?
I think so. I think anytime you could spend with each other and you get to know each other more and you kind of give each other, I think every time you sit down with, a player, you learn something different about them, of their likes, interests, family. So I think that time always is good. And for us to have that break without having to travel to games was huge. But I do think those chances, you get to learn more and more about each other, spending time. And then at the end of the day, just how lucky we are to be able to be doing this and also have really good people around us.
Last question. You kind of watched Sil her whole career. I don't know if you guys overlapped that much. Did you guys overlap?
We did. I mean, we played on Olympic team together.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been around a little while with.
But I mean, what
her.
was I guess when you got into the trenches with her and kind of working with her every day, what was the biggest surprise maybe that you didn't know about her?
Just like her personality of when she gets frustrated or, those days, you know what I mean? I don't, as being an opponent or maybe even a teammate with USA Basketball, you don't really see that of like the grind of the season. But, every once in a while she has that stern face. But most of the time Sil's just like, loves what she does. She loves doing it here with the Lynx and her teammates. But I knew a lot of it. I knew Sil's goofy, Sil keeps to herself. She works her tail off. So I knew a lot about her. But some of those intricacies of just kind of personality of like, today may not be a good day. So it's just little things that Reeve has learned over the years, spending that much time with her.
Thank you.
Katie, from I'll say a timing perspective, the team coming on, I'll say a 4-game win streak. Getting a chance to rest a little bit, do your work here, and then see who your opponent's going to be. How much does that help, having that momentum, but also having that time to just really get this team where you want to go and his final push?
Yeah, we'll take whatever we can get. Fine tune some things on the court. Obviously, everybody's banged up throughout the league, so you'll take whatever time you can to get your legs under you and get everybody fresh and ready to go once you find out who you play. Thursday night. As coaches, we're prepping, making sure that we got all our ducks in a row for whoever it may be. But yeah, I think it's really good to just kind of hone in on what we're looking for for ourselves, and then how to translate. And we'll get really nitpicky about who we're playing, but a lot of it is big picture of us. Like, what do we need to do to be successful? And then we'll game plan for whoever we need to see.
I know Cheryl really likes to harp on defense. on offense, though, they're playing probably as well as they have all season. How much does that help knowing that on any given night somebody's going to step up and play that hero role?
We hope so. We have a lot of. I think we have a lot of players that can do a little different things. You obviously Sylvia inside, and Fee kind of inside outside. K-Mac's been really efficient. AP has come down the stretch. Crystal, Bantam, Lay. I mean, it's nice to have options and be able to use their strengths in different ways. We're able to space the floor. We're able to get some paint presence, both by guards and by bigs. So we're just trying to the offense. Got to hone in on what we really want to, look at and what are our kind of go-to sets. But yeah, defensively, we'll lock in. A lot of it's individual of us being hard to screen, pressure the basketball, just helping each other. And then at the end of the day, finishing plays. And then obviously we'll know the sets and things that we want to do against teams. But it really has to do with our mentality of just really wanting to dictate and doing our job first, the individual job first. And as a team, we'll take care of it.
All right, we'll move to questions on the Zoom. We'll start with Kareem and then go to Jack. Kareem, go ahead.
Hey, Katie. Kareem from the Washington Post. Thanks for the time. Just got a kind of a random quick question for you. During the Olympic break, everybody around the league was able to start using the guys as practice players again. And I'm just curious, what's the biggest benefit of having them available?
Just reps, our players not having to take every rep. You're able to get through a little bit more in practice, defensively and offensively, because you're not going against each other. So you're just not beating up on each other as much. So I think it's just the time reps. You can do a lot more with the guys and really hone in on what you're doing because they can be the scout team. So they can play, when we just played, Washington, Indiana, we have them mimic kind of what they're doing. And then again, we can sub in our players where they don't have to go both ways. So we can go a little longer and execute more things while they're there. So they've been really helpful.
That's why my next thing was going to be, is that a significant difference from the first half of the season?
It is. It part of it is, wear and tear. You can't, practice has to be a little bit shorter because they're going, all the time. They don't have as much rest and reps. People are banged up. It's much better that they don't have to be in there, or you can do your normal drills rather than having just 8 or 9 people in practice and not being able to play 5-on-5 or relying on, older folks like myself to try to jump in and do something. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not giving them what they need. So the guys, practice players are huge for our rosters and our teams to really prep and get what we need out of, the season and make it through.
It's absolutely perfect. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Katie, it's nice to speak with you. Just now that you've had a pretty decent sample size of Fee playing the 4 with this group since Damaris went down, just what are your thoughts about how her role and her position change has kind of impacted, the way you guys have played offensively?
Fee, you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, it's put her more at the 4, obviously, than the 3. And some of those matchups are favorable. Some of them are tough, with the length and some athleticism of that. Still trying to put Fee in different positions away from the hoop. Obviously, mismatches trying to get on the block. It's similar because, last year we played with Didi and Fee. Fee was the 4, but Didi stretches the floor a little bit. Where still, not as much. She can shoot, but that's not necessarily. So we're missing a little bit of that, of just opening up the paint for Fee to kind of navigate. But overall, similar, trying to find the mismatches, trying to get her loose to be able to find those opportunities. But at the end of the day, knocking down shots, but, Fee finds a way. And that's the great thing about it is she keeps playing and rebounding and doing all the extra things, even when things may not be going as smooth as possible.
And then just with how many injuries you guys have had and forced, bench players into the starting lineup and certain starters to take on different roles themselves, just how do you think that, putting everybody at different places on the floor has helped them, get more comfortable playing unscripted basketball, when things break down or you don't run a play?
I think, Reeve, I think that's such a good job of just setting a tone from the beginning of just, staying ready and doing your job. And we need everyone. And you just don't know when your number is going to be called and what's going to happen, because it ultimately does. You always plan, think maybe it won't, but every season happens and things get thrown your way and curveballs happen. So I think it's more of a mindset, really prepping them and then just working with them and keeping that confidence, even when they haven't been playing, of like, it's going to come, you're going to be called on. So I think it's always just engaging, every single one and just understanding just how important each part of us is for the end goal. But I think they've all done a great job, and it's really kind of like, all right, let's do it. Let's find a way. And, Reeves kind of the mastermind behind moving the pieces around, but I think it's more of the communication piece of just constantly valuing every single person and thing that they bring to the table.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
That's it.
Yeah,
All right.
you're all set.
You guys, does one of the get